There is no way you can look at this evidence and just think that this person is actually acting in self-defense. We have to talk about this case. We just have to. I have been waiting to talk about this case. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I go by the name of Dr. Heinz Legal. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. Shout out to all my new subscribers that have subscribed to the channel. Welcome to the crazy world of Dr. Heinz Law Express. I appreciate all of you. Shout out to all my existing subscribers as well. I appreciate you for all your comments and your lovely supportive messages. I love that. Do check to see if you're still subscribed. It would. I've been hearing a lot of mentions and that YouTube has been unsubscribing people without their knowledge or consent. So yeah, do check to see if you're still subscribed. Now for this video, we're going to be talking about Courtney Taylor, or that's her OnlyFans name, but she goes by the name of Courtney Clenney, and she has been charged, and rightfully so, for the murder of her boyfriend Christian Obumseli. It was reported in their Miami-Dade County home as a domestic violence incident, and tragically, Christian Obumseli has lost his life. This case is very important for so many reasons. She has pleaded self-defense to the second-degree murder charge, citing that Christian Obumseli has been abusing her, and she was basically acting in self-defense because he was coming at her, and yeah, and that's basically her story. So for this video, we're going to be looking at the timeline of the relationship leading up to her death, mainly around the death, and we're going to be looking at the media reporting of this case, as well as what the friends have to say regarding this relationship. We're also going to be talking about the performance of the different witnesses and the medical examiner, the detective, etc. Those type of witnesses. We're going to be talking about that regarding the bail hearing that they had. There's not going to be a lot discussed in terms of my own independent commentary. It's just laying out all the information that we have so far, because it's not a fully fledged trial. I'm not gonna try and show, as the trial is commencing on the 19th of December. So this video is kind of a refresher, or for those that may not know about the case or may not know the details about the case. This video kind of brings it all together, brings all the information together without my own personal opinion being inserted into it. So I'm gonna try and watch for that and try and present all the information that I have on this case, the defense arguments, the prosecution arguments, and hopefully when you finish watching this video, you'll go away a bit more informed leading up to the trial. Right, so Courtney Clenney and Christian Obumseli has been dating since November 2020. Details of their relationship should come out during the trial. In 2021, Obumseli was checked into hospital, and he had visible injuries to him, and it was really bad. And he didn't say who done this to him or how he sustained these injuries, but he had treatment for them, and he didn't reveal who it was. And while he was in hospital, she was sending messages to Obumseli, basically saying that, yeah, like enjoy hospital and a lot more outrageous stuff.
So the first one that I recall, it was the defendant telling him, "I hope this gives you time to think about what you've done." And then she tells him, "Enjoy the hospital." And then he, after a little while, he messages her, "I lost a lot of blood. Can you come? I need you." And then she asks him, "Are you having fun?" And this is all between him writing her that he's losing a lot of blood and at the hospital.
Were you able to find out what happened in that time period?
Yes, she ended up cutting him with a knife.
Okay. Now, how did you figure that out?
It was all in the messages that he wrote, and she responded back to him. So during that time, the victim, he wrote a very large message to the defendant. He pretty much started explaining, is love gonna kill him? Through that message, he explained how the defendant has stabbed him several times, hit him with the phone, with other items, calls him the N-word on several occasions, and in regards to hurt him, he says that he has tried his best to work through it, and that after he goes through, after he starts his seeing a counselor, a psychiatrist, that he's gonna leave her. But then he also went into explaining that if she was still willing to work through it, that he would still want to work through it.
In October 2021, there was an incident in which they actually argued allegedly over the phone, and apparently Clenney has taken his phone, and in exchange, Obumseli told her that she stabbed him in the leg so hard he couldn't walk the next day. This is what I was talking about. And and he says to her, quote unquote, the next morning, I still woke up happy. I still gave you a good day, even though my leg was hurting because my girlfriend stabbed me. Did I make you feel like S-word for stabbing me? No, I just sucked it up and hope tomorrow will be a better day. There is no gender dynamic here. She stabbed him in the leg. It's hard to read. This is very hard to read. The next day, in these same texts, Obumseli actually reminded Clenney that she spat on him and pounded his phone to his face and to the back of his head. He pleaded with her in messages to let him into the apartment so he could lay down on the couch. This is frightening because I have been in arguments where the size issue is brought up, the physicality is brought up. That doesn't matter at all, in my honest opinion, when it comes to objects and all of these things. But I'm going to give it the grace. Let's say it does matter. Let's look at this case where he's being hit in the head, and there are these contemporaneous text messages. I want a situation in which it can be justified that this was reactive abuse if Obumseli was the primary aggressor. I can't see any justification for that here in any way at all, but that's just my feelings looking over this timeline and looking over these instances that abuse has occurred, looking at these contemporaneous text messages. The next message on the same day reads, now I have a lump, I'm bleeding, throwing up, I think I got a mild concussion and I have anxiety, I slept in the restroom for 2 hours and I'm just lost beyond words. That is I'm sorry for hitting you was the response. 5 minutes later on the same day, he says, I'm sorry for hitting you in the face and the back of your head and spitting on you. Is it right? No. So she accepts. At least she accepts that is not the right behavior to exhibit you towards the person that you purport to love. But goes on to say, you just piss me off. You just pissed me the fuck off. But I still love you. This was Clenney's response. I always say flip the genders, because there is no way, if this was, he is going to jail, he is going to prison, maximum time. If this was him, if this was Clenney that's dead, in my honest opinion, these text messages are too damning to overlook and say no, she could be. But let's say that she is a victim. Let's keep that train of thought in this timeline. She's a victim, because that's what she's claiming. But Obumseli is the aggressor. She's a victim. On January 30th of 2022, there are more text messages, and the arguments ensue. So already there's a big important point here. We don't know what happened from November to December outside of these text messages. We don't know what happened away. All these things. All these text messages is showing us is prior to this, he was stabbed in the leg. He has gone to hospital for this. There's hospital records of him being in hospital, being beaten by the phone. It corroborates so much. The text messages corroborate what actually happened because there are records of this. So on January 30th, 2022, Obumseli has answered a text saying, "Yes, Courtney," and this was buying cocaine and buying drugs. So in this relationship, we are seeing the use of drugs and substances, as well as alcohol, in the mix. With so it was a very toxic dynamic between the two that cannot be disputed. So in the next text, in response to him asking her, yes, Courtney, after they were allegedly buying cocaine, she says, "Yes, Courtney is unnecessary. I continue to have to explain to you how to act." This, and she goes on to say, "Hopefully this will give you time to think about your actions." So I have no idea what's going on here. I'm getting a lot of control vibes, coercive control vibes on him, where even him saying yes, like saying her name, is now a problem. A quick thought popped in my head, and I don't want to psychoanalyze it. I don't want to. This is probably not true. It's just my own speculation. It's my own thoughts, and I really hate to do this, and I really hate to say this, but I feel that she could have bipolar. I have no idea, because from what I'm seeing here, just from this text messages alone, it just sent. I dated a woman. Sorry, not dated. I was married to. Well, can I say married anymore? It was an annulment. I had a relationship with an individual that basically had bipolar, and it was a very similar dynamic to this. 1 minute it's like I'm seeing a lot of the accountability issues, especially with the previous text of her stabbing him, and then she's like, "I still love you," this and that, trying to justify it, but at the same time throw the love in there. I'm seeing a bit of those dynamics, but again, I don't want to speculate. I don't like doing that. I'm just the similarities are too glaring for me to be like, maybe it's nothing, So anyway, but I'm not saying she has. I'm just saying it's just striking to me. Also in October, after this was around the time that he was in hospital, etc. She was sending a lot of text messages to say, "I love you so much. I should have been in hospital with you, and I should have slept next to you. I always have. I feel." She goes on to add and says, "I feel extreme regret, sadness, and humiliation. I am so sorry for hurting you." After thinking about these messages that he's receiving, he goes on to say, "What might happen next time? I pray there is no next time like that." There is no way to obviously know exactly what happened day to day. I think that's a red herring kind of argument to say, "Oh, we will never know the ins and outs." No, the little that we do have, we will never know anyone's day to day anyway. It's just a fact of life. Unless you have a CCTV following you around 24/7, we will just never know. But from what I'm seeing here, this seems like an abused man. This compounded, and at least with this kind of context, The elevator video, it does have a bit of context to it. It doesn't explain fully because we still don't know what happened before, on the day, or after. But considering that it on January 30th and the elevator video was in February, considering that he was gonna get cocaine on all those things, we don't know what happened with that. We don't know the arguments that ensued around that. Maybe he didn't get her the cocaine and she flipped out again, and he was just trying to go up into the apartment for whatever reason. Bruh, I have no idea. The only thing that we do know is the only time she asked for a restraining order was not February, was not March, it was April when the police was called. It doesn't help her case that this exists or this is what's going on. It just doesn't help her case.
Tell the court what that incident is about. That's Exhibit 5 for the record.
On those messages, the defendant was trying to reach out to the victim, and he pretty much just said, "Yes, Courtney." At that point, she didn't like the way that he wrote to her, and just started becoming very angry and asking him about why he said, "Yes, Courtney." He explained to her that he was just trying to answer quick because he was watching the overtime on a football game.
Okay.
Wild stuff. 2022 rolls in now, and in February there was a security cam footage that has caught themselves having a very public dispute, and they were fighting on the elevator. Not they per se. Courtney Clenney was fighting him on the elevator. The context is unknown, and it's unbeknownst to us what led up to this incident or why this incident happened the way it did. But it was pretty certain that she was not happy about something, and he was just trying to basically resolve the situation or keep her away from her. The optics doesn't look too good for either of them. We can see why. He's a much bigger person in terms of muscular structure and muscular build. So even if he's pushing her away and doing all those things, it still looks extremely violent for some reason. And that's just my preconceived, perception in this case, kind of staring through. But regardless, from what we saw on the elevator video here, it just doesn't look good for Clenney, who is now facing a second-degree murder charge, looking up to 20 years in prison.
Baby, please, just get in the car. Just please. I'm sorry for calling you stupid. You will never hear me doing that. Was not right for me to do that. Please, baby, don't kill yourself.
You will never protect me.
I will.
Somebody was being horrible to me.
Hey,
you defended them.
Okay, just tell me in the car.
Get away from me. Get away from me.
Get away. Stay here. You're gonna.
See?
Your dogs are your.
See, you just said stay here. Wow.
Yeah. I know. Are you from Miami? No.
No, he's not helping me. Just leave me alone.
Just let me talk to you for a
Leave
second.
me alone. Leave me alone.
Like this, you have your respect. I want you to calm down, alright? What's gonna happen?
yourself?
Do you know what that is like? Oh, it means that I want to kill myself.
You don't need to feel like that. You don't need to feel like
Not
that.
going to tell him this.
So breathe in.
He literally makes fun of me when I am crying. Sorry, I'm not killing you.
No, I get it.
I get it.
I get it. Look, I have a wife, I'm married, I have kids, I have a life. You know, I didn't need to stop for Lord, but I see you guys need help. You guys don't need to be going through this. Alright? Really sorry. No, it's alright.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Look,
This guy was really yelling into our car. He was yelling at me, making fun of me from my car. So he said, come swing on me, come swing on me. So I opened the door and I got out and I hit him. And then he said, go apologize to that man. You know, he was hanging in my car.
we all make mistakes.
No, it's like, what would you do if you were me?
I know.
I feel like I don't have anywhere to go but my head.
Okay, where do you live?
And I'm like a block away.
You want us to order you an Uber and just go home and you guys just talk about this later? Because I don't think this is gonna end up anywhere good. For you or for her.
The dogs and let's just go drive around.
No, you like you.
I promise you I won't
Every
do
time I
anything.
ask you for help,
Are you guys in a relationship? Yes.
not anymore. Thank you so much.
No, look, I don't, no, man, you guys don't have to apologize for that. I have problems with my relationship too, bro.
And he just said he broke up with me. So the fact that he's bending down, this is how he makes friends with everybody.
No, it's not about that.
Yes, it is.
I'm not.
Shut up. He literally just said, got in my car.
When you're upset, look,
Oh
get
my
on
God,
my
I'm sorry, I like ending it.
Relax. Listen, breathe. Okay, breathe. You know, when you get upset.
I can't.
Cece, just stop,
Listen.
please.
Stop.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you are making yourself look good.
No, I'm
in
not.
front of people.
No, it's my fault.
He said it's his fault.
Courtney, just come on, bro. Courtney, please, your dogs are in the car.
You just told a lowlife. You just told me to a lowlife. You're supposed to protect me.
Yes, and I know, I'm sorry.
No. No. Both my dogs better be in that.
Right there.
You are so lucky about my dogs.
Stop hitting me.
You are still because you let my dogs.
I'm looking out for you.
My dogs.
My bad.
My dogs are more
Okay, my
important.
bad. I'm just making
No,
sure.
not your. Give me something. Give me something better than my
I'm
back.
sorry. Okay, Courtney, just stop
Don't
it.
ever do that again.
Okay, just stop it. It's okay. Stop.
Now fast forwarding to April 1st, I believe it was April 1st. She has April 1st, Courtney Clenney had again disputes after disputes. Their dispute was so bad that the tenants of the property was basically complaining of the noise that they were hearing. It was so bad that they were actually facing eviction as a result. Now, for one of these complaints, it was very interesting because the week that the mother was in, a week before his death happened in April 3rd. So a week before that, the mother of Courtney Clenney was in Miami at this time, and Courtney Clenney and Christian Obumseli had broken up at this point. She had sent him away, and it seemed like the relationship was finished and over with. So with that bit of information, after the mother have left and gone back to Texas, I believe, because that's where she's from. After the mother has left and gone back to Texas, what ended up happening was Obumseli and Courtney Clenney got back together, and yeah, it seemed like it was a match made in heaven to get back together after such a tumultuous relationship, after being in hospital, after going to jail, and bailing each other out. You would think he's home free. No, he goes back with her, and love works in mysterious ways and all that. So what ended up happening in this case was basically they were fighting again pretty quickly, like a few days, literally not even a few days, a few hours, few minutes.
Oh my God, and this security guard who lied about it.
Is she part of the problem?
Yeah, we had a domestic dispute. Basically, she lives.
Can you please let me into my apartment? Please?
Excuse me, hold on. What's going on?
Okay.
Where's your apartment? Do you have a key?
We have-
Ma'am, you don't need to talk to him. Where's your key?
lying about this.
Where's your key?
In my apartment.
So
I
you
got
got locked
my
up.
boyfriend.
Okay.
Okay, I'll get.
Okay, and where's your ID or anything so you can let him know that you live in the apartment?
In my apartment.
So everything is in your apartment.
It's all under my name. I pay the whole rent. He has never paid a freaking dime of rent. And he has somehow made like friends with everybody around here. I broke up with him. He has slept. My mom came out, okay? My mom came out to like help me break up with him, and I just couldn't do it. He slept in my elevator room inside of a couch. I hope that there's like cameras. He slept inside of a couch in my elevator room, which is stalking because he wasn't supposed to be
Okay,
here. But I never would have called. I never would have called the police because I don't want to do that.
So you didn't call.
I didn't. Nobody.
I called.
You called.
Okay.
But on
Okay, hold on, ma'am. Let him talk.
Okay, that's fine.
Ma'am, hold on. Go ahead.
The front desk personnel, this young lady, I was actually, with the other guy. We were walking around. We came back. She informed us that.
Who's she?
The front desk personnel.
Okay.
She informed us that Miss Courtney, her boyfriend, was trying to get into the elevator with
Okay.
her, but she had her hands out like this.
Okay.
And she had her hands out like this, and she was like, "Oh no, don't come inside the elevator."
Okay.
So initially, me and him, we went upstairs because he was down here for a long period of time. So we engaged in a conversation with her. We spoke to her. We said, "Do you want him to come up because he can't lounge in the lobby area because you know why? Because he's been just laying around on the couch and everything else, and some of the residents was feeling like, why is he here and everything else."
Okay.
So we asked her, I said, "Do you want him to leave the property?" She said no, she don't want him to
I
leave
did
the
not say that. I said
Okay,
yes.
hold on.
No, but
Hold on. He's talking, then you talk. Let him speak. Don't interrupt.
Guys, come on.
Okay.
When you were speaking, well, why not?
She said no.
Okay, you'll defend yourself once he's done. Okay. So you just want to get into your apartment.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, but you
Time
told me I
out.
was-
Time out. Let me talk. Okay.
I feel very like.
What's your name? Courtney? Okay,
Yes.
Courtney.
Why do you have something against me, man? Like I'm just trying to like.
Who has nothing against you?
It seems like
We're
you
trying to
don't
talk.
like me.
So you just want to get back in your apartment. Unfortunately, he can't be here in the property.
That is totally fine.
Okay. So
He's
then.
been literally
So then,
sleeping in my
what we're
elevator
gonna do
room
is
without permission.
fine him so he can leave the property, and you get back to your apartment. What else do you
I
need?
was told I was going to get a chance to speak.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Now's your turn.
Are you gonna listen?
Go ahead. Did he say something wrong?
Yes. Yes, they're all three here. Okay, so.
Can she
Okay,
get back to her apartment?
Hold on.
or-
It took me a long time to let them talk.
What do you need?
Okay, can you- Seriously.
What?
My boyfriend. I am on the okay, he hasn't paid any rent. Okay, I don't care. I'll hold it down. But I broke up with him about a week ago. I had my mom fly out. She stayed with me for a week. She tried to like get him out, and he kept sleeping in the elevator room inside of my like extra couch. And somehow, I said, "Okay, Mom, like it's cool for you to go home today. I think I got it from here." I literally like took her to the airport this morning. I stayed in my apartment all day. I didn't take my dogs out for like 8 hours because I was afraid that when I came down here, I was gonna be down. And when I did come down, I walked my dogs, and he was telling me he wouldn't leave me alone. I said, "Can I please just walk my dogs in peace? We're not together."
Courtney, does he have any property in your apartment?
He has so much. Can I, with respect, can I please? I just like, I just feel like I'm not being heard. Okay.
Go ahead.
So I had a lot of opportunities to call y'all, and I did not. So when if he's following me around this dog park, I said, "There is no, your time is up." Like that's it. And then all of a sudden, like he followed me to the elevator, and I said, "Don't follow me." This guy said he fucking shoved him when I was upstairs, and then they showed up on my door. I said I shoved him. I said, "Show me the fucking video." Like I really got angry because that did not happen. All I did was take my dogs down. I feel like I am being
I want to be like, I want to be like exonerated, I guess, of like anything wrong. And I want him, okay, the police are here. I want a restraining order against Christian Obumseli.
We don't issue those.
Because, no, I'm serious.
Courts.
Can I do that? Where
you have
can
to go
I
to court. You have to go to
okay,
downtown.
but how can
or
I make
petition.
myself first? Because I know him and he would do it. How can I make myself first?
You got to get there first.
175 Northwest for a second.
Before
175 Northwest.
Is he already on the way?
we have no idea. We don't even know how it looks like.
We don't even know who it is. How do we know that?
So you question this. I need a restraining order against him.
Okay, do you hear all this?
Listen.
Okay, they're listening.
Who's on the phone with you?
Just my dad.
Okay. Well, let me
Which I think is reasonable.
let me explain to you something with your dad on the phone, so you could hear me. You asked me, how can I get a restraining order against him? I answer you, we don't issue those. That's through court. You asked me, I need to get one before him. I told you, the only way is for you to get to court. Then you asked me, is he on the way already? And I asked you, I don't even know how he looks like. You understand? It's your questions that are making much of an.
I am. Right now, like, I have not always been the victim, but, like, right now, I'm a freaking victim in the situation. I'm scared to go downstairs and walk my dogs. I just walked him, and I told him, you don't have a chance, and now, all of a sudden, this is all happening.
What's his name?
Christian Obumseli.
Christian?
Please, just, like, don't get me kicked out of my own apartment.
We just want him to get him. We just want him.
I'm scared. I'm scared of him at this.
Take her up to the apartment. They're going to take her up to the apartment. We're going to go ahead.
Would it be okay if you guys, if one of y'all...
He has belongings here.
Would it be okay if one of y'all talk to my phone? Because he is my attorney.
He has a. Does he have property in the room in the apartment with you? A lot of property, he said. He's been with you here for about 2 months, right? Has he on and off, or is he staying with you?
For 2 months, every day.
Staying with you for 2 months here with you? Okay.
Except for last week, he wasn't part of it.
Okay, let me let you know something. He lives here. That person lives in that apartment with you. Okay, we cannot trespass anybody that lives in this place. So we can by law we cannot do this.
I know. I understand, and that's why I said I need to come out. I'm just so frazzled. I can't believe.
If you want, you can ask your dad. I don't know if he knows state of Florida law, but that's the way it works.
No, I understand, and that's I do understand that, and that is why I said, can I get a restraining order and get there first?
Listen, my answer was I already answered that. You got it. Just go to the court. Explain to them what happened. And you explain to them what you need. And if they grant it to you or not, it's on them. You have to see a judge at court. Those type of restraining orders, they're granted by a judge.
So what can I do to be safe now? For my 2 dogs and I, what can I do?
Okay, explain to me why you don't feel safe.
I'm not comfortable.
Explain to me why you don't feel safe.
What am I?
Why is it that you don't feel safe with him? Has he threatened you? Was there any type of physical violence to you?
Yes. That's not really like my concern. It's just that, like, they're just stalking me. They're stalking me. My mom is here for like time. She caught him in the little couch. Like, I have like a couch in my elevator room, and it's like turned sideways. And he like was sleeping in there, and she went outside, and she was like, what's moving in there? And she pulled it, and she was like,
okay,
oh,
listen, you want this person to completely disappear from your life. At the same time, you have him in your apartment here for 2 months with a ton of stuff in here.
But no, I know.
There's a process for this. You need
That's
the person needs to
as a woman,
gather their belongings. What is it saying? Does he want to leave?
Can I talk to you, sir?
Yeah. Hold on.
Sounds terrible, right? Sounds terrible for Obumseli. Why would she request for a restraining order, you may ask? I thought he was the abuser in this situation. Never mind he's gone to hospital. Never mind she has gone to jail. Why is she requesting for a restraining order? We don't know. The reason why we don't know is because apparently, according to the defense team of Clenney, they were saying that she was trying to protect herself and trying to distance herself from him because she was in fear of her life and he was stalking her, so to speak. To me, and in my honest opinion, based on the timeline that we've seen and the fact that they got together literally the same day, they just had another fight. Basically, they just had another fight, and for whatever happened, she wanted a restraining order. But the most interesting thing about that body cam footage is her saying that she wanted a restraining order first because he was going to get a restraining order and he was going to do it. So she needs one immediately. So it's quite clear here that she knows the implications of getting a restraining order on you, especially when you've already been in jail before, and it just didn't look good at all. But pin this for later on, because we're going to be returning back to this restraining order issue. So the police came in. They they said on this day as well, on the 1st of April 2022, they said that she was intoxicated, as well as she doesn't look it on the body cam. If I'm being completely honest with you, I don't think she looks intoxicated, but according to them, they have done their breathalyzer test and all of those things, and they were able to determine that she was not she was under the influence. So I'll take their word for it. Fast forward now to April 3rd, on the day that Obumseli died. In the hearing, they have shown evidence to show that the day started off quite well for both couples. She was playing with her dog. He was just watching TV, and this was established by their Instagram photos, etc. Instagram photos and videos. Sorry, my bad. Instagram videos.
Decide whether or not you're done gaslighting me. Decide whether or not you're done gaslighting.
I am mad that you told me to come.
Decide right now.
Courtney, that's I asked you so many times that I don't know, and I apologize. But you hit me.
Shut the
Now, fast forward now from, I think it was around 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Fast forward now to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We have Obumseli. At least it was laid out on the key fob information that he had, the call records that was going through around this time. Basically, 1:51 p.m. was the time that Christian left to get groceries, or I'm assuming comes back with sandwiches, meaning that he probably went to get food overall and went to grab food for her. For him and Clenney. And Clenney, in this case, as he came back, went to him to grab the food, and basically said on the Instagram live that the Subway is here.
Okay, I got Subway. I'm gonna go hit my puff and then eat my sandwich, because I just can't hit it in front of you guys. It's just not acceptable. So
4:32, 4:33, she places a call. It's very quickly, so I don't know exactly what happened in this moment that could have prompted her to call her mother, but she called her mom. And interesting note, she calls her mom twice. So the first time she calls her mom was when Obumseli returned with the sandwiches, and mom didn't. There was no communication in regard to the mom or anything like that. It wasn't shared in in the research that I found. However, it was heard that she said, "Mom, Obumseli is lying," and she was telling him as well to get out of the apartment.
I need to leave my phone. I need to go home. I need to talk to somebody. I need my phone. Don't touch me!
What is going on? Like, are you gonna get this mad at me when I'm apologizing to you?
No, Christian.
Like, you're thinking I'm doing it on
purpose? Drop your high pitch.
Okay, I'm not doing it on purpose.
You tough Sahara. The right thing to do is to tell me.
Yes, and I am so sorry.
So shut up and let me. You done. Give me my phone.
You have your phone.
I don't have it anymore. Find it and.
What?
Find it and charge it!
I'm sorry, Courtney.
I don't care. Find it and charge it.
Okay, just stop.
Don't talk to me.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, man.
Because I'm telling you I'm sorry.
It's my life hard. Find my charge it.
I don't know where your phone is.
Find it.
Can you help me find it?
I won!
So why?
Find it!
Why are you screaming, man? Not man, but why?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I need to find it because I have to go meet her again.
To go out?
No!
You said she buys you.
Christian, just find my goddamn phone.
I don't have your phone. Can you
just find my
Cece, can you just please?
Shut up!
Just please.
Shut up. You went to go
without talk. I didn't go to go.
Yes, you did. You always on your
Courtney, I was on.
You literally told me about it now.
What are you doing?
Yes, son.
I didn't go to talk to Aro. I was going on a bike ride. Like, what the?
Get off!
Going to talk to Aro? Is this going to make you act like this?
Talk to her without telling me!
Courtney, I was on a bike ride and she passed me and I said, hi, you and Courtney are having a live chat. My bad, I forgot to tell you that. That doesn't make you to act and call me. You're Yes, thank you. Coming from Courtney, thank you.
I want you to get away from me! Get away from me!
I guess a jealousy of anybody?
Yes.
Okay, will you please explain?
She, according to the video, he acknowledged somebody in the lobby or just in front of the building when he went out to I believe it was to walk his dog. And he didn't tell her that he acknowledged somebody downstairs. And then that's when she just went into this continuous screaming for several minutes. So one of the videos, they're in the lobby, and the victim had just explained to her, like, why are you hitting me? You can't be hitting me like that. And then she lowers her voice and tells them, shut the fuck up, bitch. And then he continues to ask her, why are you doing this? Like, calm down. And that was the end of that video. The other video, she was having some sort of tantrum in the apartment and yelling to the top of her lungs. And at one point she calls out names using the N-word towards the victim. And she also even tells him, come here, let me slap you. And then also continues into telling him, find my phone, get me alcohol, get me alcohol.
Whatever happens between from 4:32 to 4:57 is the time in which Christian Obumseli is dead.
Operator, tell us the address of your emergency. Please. 3101. Ma'am, listen to me. You need to stop screaming on the line and give me the address. 3101. You're gonna die. I can't feel my arm. 3101. I can't feel my arm. Ma'am, my boyfriend is dying of a stabbing. Ma'am, what is the address? What's that? What's the address, lady? 3131 Northeast 7th Ave. Please, God, please, come see my boyfriend. Ma'am, is this a house apartment or a business? 127453582. Is this a house apartment or a business? Baby, I'm so sorry. Baby. Ma'am, can you hear me? If you have a stab wound to his shoulder, can you sit down? What do you mean he has a stab wound on his shoulder, ma'am? Yes, he's bleeding from his shoulder. Rescue, this is PD physician Juliet. You call it, ma'am, hold on one moment. I call it by CH 3131 Northeast 7th Avenue, 31 Northeast 7th Avenue. The phone number is verified. The caller advised that her boyfriend has a stab wound. Okay, is this a house, apartment, or a business? Listen, please, God, please, God. Please, God, ma'am. I'm sending help. I need you to tell me exactly what happened. I'm sending help. How old is he? CCTV, are you still on the line? Yes, she's still on the line. She didn't provide a room number or anything. No, did she tell you where he was stabbed at? She said he was stabbed on his shoulder. Okay. Do you know if he had more than one wound? No, she didn't say. She just kept scribbling on the line saying that he was dying, that he needed help, and she kept apologizing. But we do have a call at that same address in reference to a fight that happened. The room number could possibly be 2201, because we already have a call that 2 people are fighting inside of that room. So they're possibly related. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give her a call back, but we do have rescue on the way, okay? Okay, thank you. Is PD responding on the 3? Yes, we're responding on the 3. Alrighty, thank you. You're welcome.
So it's not established the exact time of death, because he died in hospital. So, but it's a time of the stabbing, so to speak. And according to some reports, he died on the scene. Some reports say he died at the hospital. We don't know, but the police arrived at 5:04 p.m. and that is very fast, and there's a reason for that. The reason is neighbors could overhear Obumseli and Clenney going at it. They could overhear them fighting and shouting and all of those good stuff and domestics. Not really good stuff, please don't quote me on that. But they could overhear them going at it. And from this, it prompted the front desk to call the police again, because the police were called on the first instance by not by Clenney, but by the complex that they were staying in, and it was a domestic disturbance again. So Clenney was asking for restraining order there, and on this occasion, when the call was made, they came at 5:04. Clenney made another call at 4:57, and with this two bit of information, it makes a lot of sense why the police were there so quickly, because this has been a pattern and an ongoing behavior, and with her being intoxicated previously and all of those things, this is where we are going to segue a bit into what we heard at the hearing, because from here it is already established that Obumseli is dead. We've got the timeline and all of that stuff. Now, for the hearing.
So, in regards to the wound itself, what type of injury did that knife wound lead to?
It went down into the soft tissue and through the muscle and injured the right subclavian artery. Okay, it's a very long report, but I'll just say, it says, the offender, in fear for her life, warned the victim to stay away. The victim approached in an aggressive manner. The offender threw the knife and struck the victim on the top right chest area. The offender then called police and attempted to add pressure to the wound.
And in regards to this wound specifically being a stab wound, how far into the body did it go?
Approximately 8 centimeters.
Talk about 8 centimeters. Is that more than 3 inches?
Around that.
Now, based on the information you received that the defendant was alleged to have thrown this knife, do your observations support that?
I'm not an expert in knife throwing. If the person who supposedly did this is an expert knife thrower, and the knife is the type of knife that you can throw, I guess that could have happened.
Did you receive any information that the defendant was a knife thrower?
No.
So based on that fact that you did not receive that information, would it support that?
No.
And what would you expect to see a knife do if someone just flung it at somebody?
Threw it the way a knife thrower throws it?
No, someone that's not a knife thrower.
It would just hit the body and bounce off.
It says the offender in fear for
Yes,
her
I
life.
see it now. You're correct.
The victim approached in an aggressive manner. Is that right?
Yes.
And that is important information for you, right? Whether the person was stationary or moving could make a difference to you, is that right?
It could, yes.
Okay, and we'll get more into that in a bit, but according to the report, the offender threw the knife and struck the decedent in the top right chest area, is that right?
Yes.
You don't know if, for example, Obumseli was leaning forward and going to aggressively attack Ms. Clenney, right?
That's correct.
Which would then move his body forward and could affect the angle of how a knife goes into his body.
That's correct.
Also, the fact that she's 5'8" and he's 6 foot, which is a 4-inch difference, that's not something you're taking into consideration in your examination.
That's correct.
Now, would you agree that it's also possible to, for somebody stabbing somebody, they could possibly have self-inflicted wounds? Isn't that possible?
Yes.
And that's because I think they call it slippage, right? Because of so much blood, the knife could slide back and it could cause cuts on the person's hand, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm showing you defendant's exhibit S. Sir, can you see that? All right, these hands?
Yes.
Okay. And were you able to see crime scene photos in this case? Were you able to observe did they give you the crime scene photos to look at?
I did see some crime scene photos, yes.
Okay, so this is a photo of Ms. Clenney's hands on the date of the incident. She didn't have any kind of self-inflicted injuries from a knife that you can see. Is that fair to say? And I can have a photo come closer to you if it's easier for you, sir.
I'd like to see a closer
Yes,
photo.
let me, having reviewed the photographs, were you able to see any wounds on her that would be consistent with slippage of a knife?
No.
Now, you received photos of the knife. I think you said you
I
saw the
saw
knife?
photos of the knife, yes.
Okay. And from your examination of the wound, would you be able to say how sharp the knife was?
By just looking at the wound?
Yes.
No.
Now, you would agree that a knife that is thin is able to penetrate deeper into a body than one that is dull, right?
One that is sharp would be...
Yes, one that is sharp,
yes.
excuse me.
Yes.
But not just sharp, one that is thin versus thicker is what my question really was.
Well, it depends on how sharp the knife is, not
Okay.
necessarily thin or thick.
Now, in this case, this is the Global Cromova stainless steel knife, GS14. It's a very sharp and thin knife. Did you do any research into this knife before
No.
you made your determination?
No.
Did you get any information on the weight of the knife?
No.
You do understand that the weight of a knife can make a difference when it is thrown through the air, right?
I'm not an expert in knife throwing.
Are you aware that the distribution of the weight can make a difference on the rotation of the knife in the air as it is thrown?
As a novice in this particular thing, I would be aware of that, yes.
Okay. And are you aware the more a knife weighs, the deeper it can penetrate a body?
When throwing it,
Yes, sir.
that I don't know.
Would you agree with me that throwing a knife into a stationary object could be different than throwing a knife into a moving object?
Yes.
And that's because a knife throwing has velocity, and a person moving in that same direction has a certain velocity as well, right?
Yes.
And you were made aware that Obumseli aggressively moved towards Courtney at the time she states she threw the knife, right?
That's the information that I have, yes.
You understand that a knife gains speed as it travels?
That I don't know.
Distance is important in a knife being thrown?
As a novice, that probably is correct, but I want to say again, I'm not an expert in knife throwing.
Okay.
I am an expert in what knives do to people.
All right. But having said that, your opinion is that Courtney could not have thrown this knife, right?
As a hypothetical, The hypothetical that I was given, I said that what I see on the body is consistent with the person being stabbed. If I get other information that the person had the knife is a knife thrower, that this is the type of knife that you could throw and it will go into a target, then I might have another opinion.
What the defense is basically trying to argue is basically that she did it in self-defense and she was 10 feet away and threw the knife. The medical examiner, in my honest opinion, practically destroyed that theory because he's not going to change his mind unless it is a unless it's somebody that is trained in throwing knives and trained to hit a target. He could get a different perspective. But from his own perspective, it is not possible or probable that the knife being thrown can hit and go in a downward angle. I think it was 30 degrees, if I'm not mistaken. 30 degrees, I think, around that downward angle, straight into breaking and rupturing an artery 3 centimeters, I think 3 meters or 3 centimeters. I'm not too sure. I think 3 meters might be a bit too long. But that's the point. It is not possible without there being a downward force stabbing at it. So yes, where it is possible, you can throw a knife and then a knife would travel. And even if somebody was to be running towards you and you throw a knife, the distance would go, if you want to picture it, as you're going closer to the person as she is describing, running towards you and you throw the knife, it's possible that you're running into it and it could rupture somehow. But Clenney's physical strength plays a lot into this. I can see that happening with Obumseli because he's muscular, so the force he would exert into the knife would make sense to hit her from 10 feet. It would make a bit more sense. Not a winnable argument in my opinion, but it will make a bit more sense because of the force that he would go into, the adrenaline of seeing somebody coming at him. But I still doubt, especially with him unharmed, because this is the one fact of the case. With him unarmed coming at her, it doesn't justify the use of force to even throw the knife in the first place. They were in the manner they did. But he's a big guy. He could. There is so many possibilities that could be explored or argued. That has to be said. But in this case, that was their main argument, and the defense done a masterful job in actually making the lead detective, look incompetent in his job. He got the lead detective to basically reveal that he has been DV trained, so he is trained to notice the signs and patterns of domestic violence, the previous arrest, all of these notice like hairs on the floor or bruises around the neck or redness or anything that might stick out that this is a victim at play. And this was very material because of the April 1st incident when they first went to see her. This was when he was seeing these things, if I'm not mistaken. He was basically saying things like her hair was on the floor. Were you trained to pick that out? Examine that, ask more questions, all those things. He done a wonderful job bringing that information out to make him look like, yeah, they really, like, if they had acted earlier, Christian wouldn't be dead, in the sense that they would have removed the pair and he would have still been alive. So therefore, it's not necessarily Courtney's fault. She had to act in self-defense. So that's what they were trying to establish from the way I saw it. It's not the most winnable argument, and the reason why I say it's not the most winnable argument is a very compelling one. I think it makes the police look like failures in the entire process. If I'm being honest with you, I think also they might even use Courtney Clenney's distrust of the police and as a material evidence, because she basically said on her Instagram live that when someone asked her a question, oh, what do you think of the police?
Do you support the police? I've actually, yes, I do. I think a lot of times they don't do their job, for sure. And in my experience, I've not been helped by them. But I think for sure, they typically do their job. And it shouldn't, I don't know.
So as we establish from there, we can see that they might use this argument, really, because she says that they have let her down in her life, in her experience. Now, it's a very weak one. I think it's a weak argument, but I think it does play to the mindset of somebody that on April 1st, they have gone through something that seems to be DV to them, and she was expecting them to do a bit more, but nothing really happened. She didn't get the restraining order she wanted. With all of that compounded and brought into the case, it does make it seem like they let her down and she wouldn't have been in the position that she was in. That being said, this is very important. The police thought that she was intoxicated. I think that's very important. Like, they probably didn't perceive DV going on. They probably thought she was having they probably ran up her background and saw that she has had a DUI charge and all those things. So they just thought it's delusions going on, especially with her saying, I want it first. It's not giving the best of motivation. But this is just my own opinion based on the facts of the matter. These questions were not brought in or brought up by either the prosecution or the defense, and there was also something that was not brought up by either party as well. What was not brought up was the fact that there is potential here for cheating. It's just potential for cheating. I mean, I don't want to go off this stigma, but this is exactly why I believe that this is going to be a political case the minute it hits trial, and which is why I made the post that I made on Twitter about how she's going to become an activist after this, because there is a stigma around OnlyFans or sex workers in terms of being committed to or of being in an actual committed relationship, of actually finding LOVE or love, and actually leading a productive relationship. So it is very possible that Obumseli was cheating. It's very possible that Obumseli was seeing other people, seeing other OnlyFans creators, and being with them, and she just didn't like that. It's very possible. And the reason why I think this is because who goes to get sandwiches for 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours? I'm sorry, I just don't see. Like, 1:52, you go out to get Subway. 4:32, you return. I have questions. I just have questions. But it doesn't mean you go and kill somebody. No, it doesn't mean that. That's not what I'm saying. But the evidence seemed to point like that, especially when it says Obumseli is lying to the mom. It's telling me what is he lying about? You are in fear of your life. You think he's gonna abuse you, right? What's the lie? So how does it get to the point of coming at you in rage, and you have to grab the knife and throw it at him? That's not making sense to me. Before this, even, the police officers were saying she was throwing plates before the knife. So maybe that could enrage him, make him coming at him. It's very possible. I actually would believe that would happen. If you're throwing plates at somebody, anyone would get pissed off at that. So that could happen. The one thing I don't get, and this is the main thing, they were arguing, I believe 10 minutes before the actual call to 911. I believe there was a secret recording from, I could be wrong with the times, don't quote me on it, 10 to 20 minutes. Let's just put it like that. It was within a time frame. He was in the apartment before he died. There was a secret recording by Obumseli. And basically in those secret recordings, she was very mad, and she was saying the N-word, and he was talking about and a girl that he went jogging with some other time, and yeah, she wasn't happy in any way. She was so unhappy that the N-word was slipping out. Not slipping out, I'm sorry, it was coming. It was coming like a fast-moving train at you. So yeah, now with all that information, now with all of that presented, it's very possible that this is just an unfortunate accident that comes out of passion. And crimes of passion, I'm not sure. I don't know how they regard it in the legal system, if I'm being honest with you. I haven't looked into that because it's not been argued here. I would have loved to look into that and look at the cases of crimes of passion, etc. But I don't know if this is going to come up at trial. This could be just a throwaway information. They could have a completely different context to all of that doesn't even suggest cheating. I don't know, but to me, it just seems like a very compelling case for cheating that would push Courtney Clenney to act the way she did, especially with, if her defense is to be true in terms of him abusing her, there would be some kind of bond there that would make her flip out, that you've been abusing me all this time and you did this, so I'm gonna flip out. I'll give, maybe that could be the case, or most likely, and I believe this is the actual case, he left her after the hospital, after bailing her out in jail, and then the mom came down. The defense was saying, the police was saying that she expelled him or expelled him. The question is, who went back? Because that's what we don't know. Who went back? I think that's very key. If he's the one that gone back and then seen doing this, I can understand why she was angry and all those things. If it's the other way around and she went back to him, and again, I can see why she's angry again, but I can also see why he was playing, I'm trying to distance myself, but I like her as well. It's weird relationships. Relationships are weird, especially when it comes in this type of dynamic. If you look at the audio video, when even he's in public and he is expressing, I think they were in the elevator, in the hotel lobby, where he's expressing that she hits him, and he's apologizing, and all of those things. He does look frustrated. And she just doesn't look like she's detached from all of that. She doesn't care. Like the texts that we see, the remorseful play. There's also a text of him being in hospital and she's laughing at him. With all that compounded and brought into one, it's extremely hard to look at Clenney and be like, how are you not the abuser in this situation? I understand you felt victimized, because if you in that moment you can actually argue, yes, she was a victim in this moment because you told him to leave. So let's reconcile this timeline. A week before they broke up, right? And then they got back together April 1st. So whatever happened from April 1st to April 3rd, why they got back together is the mystery. Who got back with who is the mystery. In this moment, she felt victimized because she told him to leave and he didn't. Now, the most interesting part about all of this is April 3rd and the use of the fob at 1:52. Why was everything okay in the morning? What happened from April? Because this is April 2nd, before the actual killing on the next day. So what happened between that time that you were afraid for your life and he was stalking you and all that? What actually happened from this time that basically it's mind-boggling to me. So basically from this time to the morning, they woke up fine, I don't know, maybe they had sex or something and everything was fixed. I don't know the exact details of what could have happened in that little 12-hour window that would have suggested, oh, okay, everything is fine. But the evidence that's being shown of them in the from their Insta posting up, etc. Again, Instagram perception, all of those things. But it doesn't seem like it's an act. It doesn't seem like, let's portray this life out to the world while we are fighting. It doesn't fit the dynamic of what I just watched on the police cam video. It just doesn't make sense why he would be there when she wanted him away. That's my point. It's also very interesting as well in the video in regards to the police, in regards to the way she perceives the black individual, the black guests. This is just racial overtones, racial undertones. So I don't want to head into this territory, but hearing the N-word being used the way she used it in the audios is a bit concerning, because she was very paranoid about him even being friends with all of these people. I would like to know the girl that the black guy was referencing in the video, and what race she was, because regardless, it seems like she didn't have much trust for this guy. She was already thinking he's lying, and I don't see why he would have to lie. The manager, as it seems, gave a very good detailed account and even corroborates our case a little bit, but why she was protesting and saying he's lying is a bit strange, that he would lie about this one and not everything else. So everything else, Courtney saying, no, you can't come up with this and that, or all those things, that was the truth. But for some reason, her saying, him saying, she said, no, it's fine, he can come up, like do you want us to take him away and send him out because he can't stay in the lobby? That's just what's not reconciling with me. That's just not sitting right with me, because why would he, of all people, have to lie about this? He doesn't even know what's going on per se within this relationship, and he doesn't even know, and he was the one that called the police. She didn't want to call the police. So again, it's very tough. And the extra fact that in the body cam, it was her dad that was on the phone with her, and she described him as her attorney. So I'm thinking here, again, what has gone on that he would have to get involved at this point, and what did they really reconcile and get back together? Because she is bringing up the fact that they broke up, that the mother had kicked him out of the place. So and they are broken up. So I would like to know what brought him back, what the communications around that time. I think that's very important. The most important part about all of this case is the most damning evidence against Clenney is trying to get struck out. So basically, the audio that is of her saying the N word and all those things, they're trying to argue that it was recorded without the consent of Clenney. So she doesn't know what's being recorded, but he does, meaning that he could have motive to say whatever he wants, etc. However, the prosecution has quipped back to that, argument, saying that no, we have a bylaw here that basically says if you're in a public space and other people can hear you, even if you were to record in your on your phone without the other person's knowledge, you are in a public building. So therefore, it doesn't really constitute, because other people can hear you, etc. So if she was shouting and he was shouting and neighbors was hearing all this and complaining and placing the call at 4:46, what's the difference between them hearing and you hearing it? Basically, is the question. What's the actual difference? There are so many things in that argument that does seem to work in the prosecution's favor. It's a very smart argument to make in terms of what you're hearing. If these witnesses were actually hearing what they were saying, I think it's going to survive is going to survive that that argument to remove it because they were in a private quarter. Even if that was the case, it becomes really public when you are making it public, basically. Do go to the if you want the articles, they are literally in the description. Do go follow Lavanya Thompson on Medium. She is a brilliant writer, and the way that she has reported this case, she has really tried to remain as neutral as possible, and just reported the facts. I admire her journalism integrity on that front. Of course, I would have liked to see more information brought out based on what I do know, but I am happy that she was able to bring out these texts and all of these things for me to read out to you. So yeah, do go give her a follow on Medium. Okay, so for full disclosure, I mean, just to cover the other side of the argument here, for some reason when this case first hit the news, no one really cared about it as well, simply because of the fact that there was a couple of misogynoir texts from, not texts, tweets from Obumseli. He didn't like black women, so to speak. He didn't want to date them. He preferred just white women. So as a result, they dismissed him and all those things. It is being used against him as a linchpin by other people watching in that I've seen on Twitter, that, you know, it's now being said, oh, he could have been the aggressor in this relationship because he sent he made a lot of misogynistic or I don't know the exact word for misogynoir, but he made a lot of racist quote unquote tweets towards black women, and so he is very problematic, and those are red flags and could suggest that he deserved this killing, really. That, you know, like that this killing, well, no one, let me not say deserved, that's a bit harsh. Let me say this self-defense was justified. Let me say it like that. Anyway, in a day and age that that text messages could be used against you, in terms of that it's not even material to the case, that text messages and tweets like that is not even material to the case or anything like that could be used against you, shows how devoid of critical thinking that we actually have become as a society. I'm sorry, but what? Yeah, this case is yeah, so that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for watching this video, and I hope you do enjoy it. If you haven't liked this video, make sure you do like the video. Make sure you also share the video, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that mobile bell notification. We got plenty more videos coming. I shall be recording this case, going live, I should say. I shall be going live. Whether I could go live on at the time or go live after the fact remains to be seen. It just depends on my work schedule. Hopefully I can stream, I can do a stream and we can go through it together. So this case is, I'm really excited about. So thank you so much for tuning in for this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day and stay blessed.